Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War 8.1 update. It's a relatively smaller update, however has a ton of quality of life that ended up coming into it, some of which is pretty good. Sorry that I didn't have this up a little bit earlier. My setup right now is very strange as I am currently transitioning computers. My mic is currently sideways and we're using the pad of the laptop right now to navigate, so hopefully this should be fine. Hopefully audio doesn't cut out with how I'm recording this, but should be fine. But anyways, just wanted to briefly go over this. It's not that big of an update, but, still want to cover it and everything. The full changelog will be in the description below if you want to go read or follow along with it yourself, as I will probably be reading at least most of it, though I will be skimming over the earlier section, even though it's probably the bigger part of what this update is probably impact-wise the smallest one. But anyways, 8.1 update, quests, maps, and more. Gems of War 8.1 quests, maps and more will be available from 4 p.m. PDT Tuesday, last night. Actually, that's how I ended up knowing about it. I was doing my dailies last night on phone, and I'm like, wait, the phone wants an update. It's like, oh, well, we got an update, didn't we? Then I checked the thing in the game. It's like, yep, 8.1, there we are. All platforms except for Nintendo Switch, of course. Nintendo Switch always getting left behind. Poor Nintendo Switch. Anyways, biggest thing this ended up doing, quest improvements. They essentially reworked how the quest is going to look, and obviously for a lot of veteran players, or probably most of the player base in general, we have already completed every single quest in the game. However, if I'm not mistaken, next week, actually we can see it right over here on the calendar, next week we have a Kedar, sorry, Karkaroff, not Kedar. Kedar, wait, we're having a Kedar event week with a Karkaroff rework? Interesting. I just noticed that. But anyways, we're going to be having a Legends Reborn next week. This normally wouldn't be too big of a thing. However, though of course there's going to be a bunch of rework to all those troops, so it might be interesting. Depends what they end up ultimately doing with it. But the interesting part about it this time around is we actually get to immediately utilize this patch that has just occurred. So they're essentially reworking how you're going to be going through the quest line, and all the little nodes, the visuals for it. They've done it for most of the kingdoms. It looks like 5 of them got left out. They also did it for all the underworlds. I think they mentioned somewhere in here they did it for like 71 out of the 76 total that are in the game. So, yeah, we should be able to see that for the Karkaroff rework next week. So, even if you already have all the quests completed, you'll still be able to see it for that. So, unfortunately, most of this is just like quality of life, probably mostly affecting newer players, but all of us veteran players will be at least able to see it with the Legends Reborn next week. So, be interesting to see how these look. I haven't actually personally seen it yet, so we'll find out on, I guess, Monday when we go and do it all. Beyond that, we got some new achievements. One is for the new Demonic Portal Gem, which will be coming in next season. Of course, this season we have the Entangle Gem, which for the first time ever is basically a gem that already existed in the game. It came in with the big wave of the PvP update, where they ended up bringing in several different gems into the game, the Entangle Gem being one of them. So, first season ever where we've actually had technically a repeat gem, but of course we have a non-repeat one coming up, and that will be the achievement for the next season. And beyond that, you'll also be able to get achievement for having 5 level 10 immortals. It's a little luck-based to get. Even if you bought in the past, there's a good chance you do not have it this season. However, 2 PvP seasons in, which of course the next PvP season resetting in about a month or so, give or take a little bit. So we do have that around the corner. And when that does, you might be able to get 5 immortals. If you did free side both times, I'm not sure how, like, what your chances are that you'll have one max. I think even though I bought it once and I won't be ever buying it again, I just mostly just want to do it initially. I think that will be enough for us to have 5 level 10s, I'm not sure. But regardless, if you just wait 3 PvP seasons, or, do 3 PvP seasons, the 180,000 you need to do across the season, you should be able to get that by 2 seasons from now, which is still a little while. It's a couple months. It's basically the end of the year, but it is definitely very achievable, 100% free to play. Anyways, as far as some general changes, here's where the bigger ones actually lie. So here's where we're going to start reading. We have added a new Dragonite recipe to the Soul Forge that will rotate each week with a different Dragonite dragon. One of those available from either the Gem Dragon drop table or the Cosmic Dragon Egg drop table. They finally did it. They've been talking about this for so long. But now the meta for these is basically going to be you open a bunch of eggs until you have 4 of the dragons. Then for the final 2 that you need, you will simply go and soul forge for them. I wish I could do this for the underworld things, because that's where I currently am for Underspire right now, is I have 4 of the Guardian troops, but I'm still missing 2. But of course now you can just get a billion repeats of the 2 you already have, and this was a huge issue with eggs, particularly trying to get your 6-1 that you need when you have 5, and you get like 20, 30 extra copies of all the other ones. Well, now, instead of doing that, you simply just get the 4-ish. You can go for 5 if you want to, but go to about 4-ish, and then you can just simply just get them from Soulforge when they rotate around. You might have to wait a little while, though. With a lot of the wording that's here, which we'll see in a little bit, it does look like they're going to be adding more. So far, since these dragons have existed, we've gotten a new set of dragons every year. Doesn't mean they'll keep up with that, but the wording, as we go a little bit lower, does sound like they're going to be adding more and more. So right now, with only 12 rotating, it doesn't take that long, of course, 12 weeks. However, you know, we get another set that's now 18 weeks, so on and so forth. By the time we have another set, 24. It'll just keep going higher and higher. So the amount of time you're going to have to wait for these to rotate is going to be a little bit slow, since it seems like there's only going to be one available per week, but at least initially, this should be really good. So if you've been looking to get your Stellarix so you can actually start playing the game, no, you do fine without Stellarix, but you know, it's like the entire meta right now. Or if you eventually want to craft that Diamantina for pretty much no purpose at the moment other than to have it, mostly because, well, I guess Kingdom Upgrade, mostly because Stellarix has just been so much stronger than it ever since they reworked it. Hopefully they will do something to that, because I really want Diamantina to be good again. It was viable for like 1 year, and it's like, nope, Stellarix everything. But yeah, you can finally get your Stellarix a lot easier now. So just if you haven't already, go open your Cosmic Dragon eggs, go and get to like 4 or 5 of them if you haven't already gotten them. And then, yeah, just wait for the final 1 or 2 to go rotate in Soulforge, and boom, you're good to go. You will have a 100% chance. Of course, this will have a higher cost associated to it. I don't think I actually mentioned here the exact ratio of costs, but whatever it is, it's probably worth it. Even at 5 times, I think it might still be worth it. If you're only missing 1, and you would pay 5 times the cost of 1 in order to get it, that is still very worth it. Of course, it does come down heavily to what the actual cost is. If it's like 10, 20 times, and that's a different story. But I don't think they actually specify here. They just say this allows you to target a Dragonite dragon. It has a higher cost than its respective dragon egg, but it does not say what ratio. Like 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. Anything above 5 times is a little pricey. However, anything below 5 times, it's like insta-buy if you're only missing 1 or 2. Once you get to like 10 times plus, we're getting into sketchy territory on how worth it is. It would definitely always be worth it for your final one, regardless what the cost is. It really comes down to cost and if it's worth doing it on your 5th and potentially even your 4th if it's low enough cost. If it's only like double the cost, honestly, you might as well almost do all of them after you have like 3. So it really just comes down heavily. Because if it's 2 times, then yeah, as soon as you have 3, you would go get the other 3 from it. If it's like 5 times, then yeah, doing it for the last 2 is fine. But if it's like 10 times or higher, you'd probably only ever want to do it for the very last one you need once you have 5 of them, just to get that one that you're still missing. I don't know, we'll have to see exactly what the ratio is. I'm pretty sure someone better at maths can do the exact ratios, but you know, you can kind of eyeball it just based on the ratios and kind of see about how many you would need. But it comes down heavily what will ultimately be the cost. And unless they mention on the forum, yeah, it doesn't mention anything here about it, unfortunately. Anyways, any future new dragon egg dragons will have a 1-year exclusive period. So this is interesting. This does mean the 2 that currently exist should be in drop table immediately, I would assume. I'm trying to remember when Celestial Dragons came into the game. I want to say it's either September or October of last year. But given that they did this update, I assume they'll just grandfather in the other ones. It'd be really weird if initially you're only able to do the gem dragons with this mechanic, which might be the case, because now that I'm thinking about it, wasn't it like October of last year that Stellarix came into the game? I honestly don't remember the exact month, because I don't think it's quite been exactly a year yet, but we're really close if we haven't reached it already. So that'll be a little unfortunate, because that means for the first month or so, or however long it is, you might not be able to get this, this Stellarix initially. But, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. The second we see a Celestial Dragon, we know for sure it is in drop table. Anyways, the new recipe will go live next week. So, of course, if you check Soulforge right now, you will not see it there. It doesn't happen until reset time at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, or whatever they mentioned here, the 7 a.m. GMT. But, yeah, not until Monday reset does that get changed. We have added in a new Heroic Gem for the future. We already saw that, Demonic Portal. It has a achievement associated to it. We have changed access to Alliance chat from Saturgan 5 to Legion 5. I believe this is a reduction, if I'm not mistaken. This is mostly to make it so you can actually chat in your Legion a little bit earlier. I think before they had it set to a really weird amount where you had to wait like almost a whole week or something if you like full change Legion in order to start talking in your new Legion, but now they made it way easier to do so. We've also changed the amount of VP from icons. Oh yeah, so this was a pretty controversial one. Well, not icon. Well, you know, the fact that you only had 10% conversion. I think 20% conversion is still absurdly low, though, especially since there is technically a way to bypass it. If you just hold all your burning marks, let's say you currently have, I don't know, 200 burning marks, and you decide not to use any of them, and then you get some icons from those when you open them the next season, you just converted your burning marks into 100% retain for all of your medals, or for all of your, whatever they're called, the little statue thingies. So you would have had 100% retain. But it went from 10% to 20% now, which 20% still seems really, really low. I'm not sure why they made it so low. Like, I understand the reasoning, kind of, why they don't want to make it 100%, even though there's, or I just mentioned, there's already a way to bypass it with 100%. You just hold all your burning marks. Doesn't mean you don't get to cash out on them immediately, but, you know, if you just hold them, wait till next season, and boom, you cash them in for 100% value. But, I don't know, it just seems weird that it's that low. Of course, the most controversial thing they did is you don't keep any VP between seasons. It gets completely wiped all the way back to 0. And they said in the past that they were originally going to keep some amount of your total VP, like 10, 20, 50, whatever they would have kept. But they end up keeping 0%. So, of course, if you had like a million, let's even say this season, if you have like a million VP right now, you don't keep any of that going into next season. It just gets reset all the way to 0. The only thing you get to keep are your whatever burning marks you have and whatever icons you have. Those icons have now been increased from 10% to 20%. So if they would have given you 1,000, they now only give you 200 instead of what originally would have been 100. But if you just save all your burning marks, you'll get the 100% of the value from it. So I don't know. I still feel like they need to change this substantially because even with this change, just means nothing. It still has a very fundamental issue that has not been fixed at all. Though because they think it is fixed now, they will probably never change it again, like the many issues that are in the game. That they do one fix for it, it's like, yeah, it's fine now. And then they leave it like that for the rest of the time. So this is probably staying like this for the rest of the time, which is kind of unfortunate. So if you truly want to maximize on saving VP for the following season, just don't open your burning marks in a given season, or hoard at least some amount of them. And then the following season, you can go open them all. It's a little bit of a waste doing it that way, but any icons that you get at the beginning of the season that way will give you 100% value rather than this now 20% value. Anyways, as far as bug fixes, I don't think I actually read this earlier, but let me go. Oh yeah, I did check the first one. They finally fixed the weird bug with potion gems. So if any of you guys been doing potion battles in PvP, you would know how absurdly glitchy that is. It would basically soft lock you. Well, not necessarily soft lock you. Essentially what it did is it would pre-trigger a potion gem. And because that potion gem was triggering and basically turning into like a board state, it forced you to have to swipe a gem from the board rather than casting. It would completely lock up any casting that you could possibly do. So if you wanted to cast an ability, nope, you had to go take like a 3-pair or something off the board. It was really, really annoying, but they have finally fixed that. They have fixed an issue where exploding mana potions could cause the game to lock up. I think there was a lot more situations than just exploding them, but hopefully every situation of this has been fixed. I haven't actually checked this in PvP. I shouldn't just assume anything on patch notes is actually fixed. As it's saying that it's been fixed and it actually being fixed are two very different things, but assumably this has been fixed. I have not had the time to check it yet, though let's hope it's fixed because that was actually really annoying. Anyways, we have fixed an issue where having an active Nomapalooza could cause the game to freeze if you try to play the Citadel battle. Oh no. We have fixed the when you would ever do that though. That's such a waste of a palooza. We have fixed an issue that would allow players to include 2 immortals into their team. Yeah, you're only allowed to have 1 immortal per team, so they just made it so some overrides to that have been fixed. We fixed an issue where immortal troops could be summoned. Oh no, that was an issue? Oh no, that was kind of fun. That's actually how we got to use them before they got released, because before the PvP season actually started, we ended up summoning Ossifer and a few others. Mostly just Ossifer, though, because he's the most viable one. But, yeah, you could just summon him off of Thingy, but, oh, that's kind of unfortunate that you can't summon them anymore. I wish you could still summon them, but it would, like, check if you already have an immortal on your team or something, and then just, like, remove it from the drop table. But I guess that's too much to do, so they just kind of removed it from the drop table. That's a little unfortunate. In all fairness, it doesn't really affect much, but it was a way to kind of try the immortals, I guess, before they came out. But now that they're all out, yeah, I guess that's fine then. Because obviously, summoning an immortal isn't, like, too useful of a thing to do. Like, they're not bad, but very rarely are they going to be particularly beneficial, mostly because of how much mana cost they're going to be blocking initially. Anyways, they have fixed an issue where the Immortal Titanus spell, Destroy a Column effect, would not resolve heroic gems correctly. And they have also fixed an assortment of smaller issues, which hopefully there's a ton of them. But anyways, guys, that's the full rundown on the patch notes, with the biggest takeaway definitely being the Cosmic Dragon. Being able to get these, going to be huge going into the future. That means when the 3rd set of dragons come out, it'll be way easier to get. The only unfortunate part is there is a 1-year grace period to basically give more value to people who do end up using Dragonite for it. So, to some degree, this doesn't really change anything, unless you take very long breaks from the game or something. Because in a sense, you know, if there's a 1-year grace period, like, we're barely at that 1-year grace period for Stellarex. Look how much time we've had to do Stellarex. And take Diamantina, for example. Diamantina was only viable for its first year. After its first year, it became dead content. So this is good, but also to some degree, the 1 year grace period is going to make it very situationally useful, because there's a chance it could nerf into the grounds, like whatever the next one is. Like, let's say we get the third one and maybe they tweak Stellarex some, because they were still considering like tweaking one, tweaking Stellarex. And if they do while simultaneously releasing another one, it's like, okay, well, now you have easier access to getting Stellarex, but now Stellarex isn't the best thing to use anymore. So I don't know, it might just be a perpetual cycle where whatever the new dragon, shiny dragon is, it's like, oh, this is like the best thing to use. And then the older ones, they might become easier to get, but they might be less viable. But I can't really think of much they could do to Stellarex to make it too much less viable. Even if they nerf that thing into the ground, I feel like that thing's still going to get used. Even if they bring it back to like pre-nerf levels, or pre-buff levels, I mean, I'm pretty sure it would still get used. There already was a use case for even over Diamantina in that situation. But I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. But I still feel like this is overall good, though. Though I do wish it was a little bit quicker than a year, though. Like maybe half a year, a few months. Like 3 months, I feel like is fine. Because that means if we got, let's say, a new set of dragons in, I don't know, October, that means by early next year, you'd already be able to go and, you know, try for them in the guaranteed. But now you're going to have to wait all the way till the following year. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see exactly how this pans out. But worst comes to worst, if any of you have been looking to get your Stellarex, it has now become substantially easier very soon. You should, in the upcoming months, find whatever dragon you're missing, go and craft it at a guarantee rate. It'll just cost some amount more Dragonite than you might spend otherwise, but it'll be guaranteed, so you won't get RNG'd out of it. And boom, you'll get your Stellarex. So, if nothing else, at least everyone will be able to get their hands on that going into the future. Anyways, guys, if you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I will have in the description the link to this full thing if you want to go read for yourself. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.